What's going on YouTube? This is Tapnuo, and I'm here today with a slightly different video, but definitely still related to techno, minimal techno, warehouse techno, production, and this even applies to whether you're using Logic, Reason, Pro Tools, doesn't even matter. The point is we're talking arrangements, and I'm using this remix that is on my upcoming album, actually, which will be dropping on Saturday, February 18th, so keep an eye out for that. I'll be posting that to the channel on Saturday. This is a remix by Insical, who's a great friend of mine here in Los Angeles, and he does more warehouse, kind of really late night, 5 a.m. kind of techno, and I just feel that the arrangement on this record is incredible. Now, for sake of, the album's not out yet technically, so I'm not going to play the track. You'll have to peep the album when it comes out, peep this remix. But we don't even need to be hearing it technically because we're focused on kind of like, this is going to sound weird, but we're kind of focused on how it looks. Usually, you want to focus on how it sounds, but when I take away the track, I've made all these markers, right? And so think about when you're working on a track, let's say you've got, like an 8, 16, even 34 or 32 bar loop, right? And it sounds great as a loop, but it hasn't really, it needs to have that dance floor element. It needs to have like a story to it, essentially. And so one thing you can do is, let's say the track you're working on is 138 beats per minute, but this applies to any tempo. It doesn't matter if it's 100 or whatever. So find a track that you really like, whether it's a remix, even a bootleg, just anything that you really love the arrangement, where you love the intro, you love the little fake out breakdown, you love the first like main element where you can really feel the track starting to take off and take you on a journey. And then, it has that big drop. Find something that you really connect with and essentially just go through and listen to it and make some markers. Now, personally, I love Pro Tools because of the way that you can use markers. I know in Logic, they're pretty easy to do. I have no idea how Ableton markers work or Reason markers work, and I probably never will, but whatever. The point is just go through and listen and look for, different changes in the track where new elements come in, where, certain things like the hi-hats filter in, filter out, to where it would be a good point, like if you're blending in a DJ mix, if it's, like this is a pretty fairly straightforward length of time that you could use to, if you're over here, you could have the old record, and then by the time you get here, you're just on this track. And then listen for like a little part to where it's like almost there's a breakdown, and then make a marker for the breakdown, essentially act 2. Just so I'm kind of just going off the dome here, but basically I'm just trying to say, like, if you are stuck on a 32 bar loop or an 8 bar loop or whatever, find a reference track that you really like, set the grid to the tempo. The important thing, the one thing you really do need to do is, in Pro Tools, tab to transient is great for this, but basically just find that kick drum so that at the start it's essentially, lined up. Because if it's like that, and then, you have your grid set, it's going to be slightly off. So that just helps. But yeah, essentially just go through, look, kind of, you can just tell by looking at the waveform, and you don't even have to go too crazy with markers. You could just even make like 3 or 4 markers, but markers are an incredible way to get a concept turned into a full record. Because like I've shown you, by the time you take that off, you can either keep just the markers in there, or you can do, like in Pro Tools, it's really cool. You can hide and make the track inactive. I know you can do that in Logic as well. So you can always keep it there just in case. The other thing for this reference track technique with arrangements is it also helps, let's say it's, the same style of music, and you really like the mix down as well. You can just keep that in there and build mix down notes upon what you've already got. So I think taking notes when you're working on music is really important. Keeping track of your progress. And on top of that, you don't have to copy a record's arrangement like exactly. You can always play around with it and, move things around, take things out, um, and play and just kind of add your own style to it. And that's actually a big way that the records that are on my upcoming album, Fake Techno, those are things where I had a concept in mind of an arrangement that I liked, and then I kind of added my own twist to it. And then by the time I was actually done with the records, they were barely similar to the reference arrangements that I had looked at. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Check out my album, subscribe, comment, and thank you so much for 200 subscribers. Hell yeah, let's keep on going, baby. Later.